I'm Cookie, and welcome back to another episode of the Untold Origins, the series where I talk about the backstories of one or multiple minor characters from my series Legends. Today's episode, and a few episodes after, will focus on a group of characters I like to refer to as the Seven Princesses. Well, technically none of them are actually royalty, but I will explain why soon. I'll start with Symphony and her youngest sister Katrina. Born at melodic shores, Symphony developed a close relationship with her family. Her mother had passed her music magic onto her daughter, and the two of them bonded over their shared love of it. Her father, though lacking any musical talent himself, tried his best to get involved. While his wife pursued her dream of music, he worked a stable job to keep them afloat. But he did not let work stop him from spending time with Symphony. Everything was well for the family, and Symphony was excited to become a big sister after her mother's pregnancy announcement. However, this pregnancy was rough and dangerous for her, and she ended up having her second daughter, Katrina, early. Even though Katrina survived, their mother died a short while later. Symphony and her father were devastated by this, and though Symphony never blamed Katrina, her father did treat her slightly differently. With their mother gone, Symphony had to step up and take care of Katrina, while the father was at work. The two of them grew closer while their relationship with their father grew distant. Katrina, despite not knowing her mother, grew up being a happy child. However, she also grew up to be rebellious because of Symphony's tendency to be overprotective and somewhat motherly. Symphony would be concerned for her safety, unlike their father, who now acted awkwardly around the sisters. Still, that did not stop them from practicing their magic. Symphony would teach Katrina everything their mother taught her, and together they proved to be quite skilled fairies and musicians. Although no one knew about their magical talents until one day, a crazed enchanted animal came into the village and started attacking everyone and everything. The sister's father tried to help others escape before being knocked down. Before he could attack him any further, Katrina rushed to protect him. Symphony arrived not much later and started attacking the enchanted animal. Using their magic, they managed to calm it down, and it fled as the sisters checked on their father. Dad, are you okay? Oh my, I could have sworn you two were still children, but now you've both become brave young women. Where has the time gone? It was then he realized how much he missed his children and vowed to be there for them from now on. He encouraged them to continue practicing with their magic and began trying to play music with them again, just as he did with his wife. A few months later, Symphony found something interesting, an application to become a princess in Wolverina. Only the most promising fairies would be accepted. After a long talk, their father agreed that Symphony and Katrina should at least try for this opportunity. And a few months later, after applying, both of them were accepted and moved to Wolverina a short while later. There, they met other accepted applicants: Gadget, Gizmo, Alana, Flutter, and Emma. They also met the royal family: Queen Gloria and her two children, Princess Catherine and Prince Kieran, and her adopted daughter, Princess Crystal. It did not take long for everyone to start mingling. Katrina quickly became friends with Gizmo and Flutter, who had older sisters as well. Meanwhile, Symphony got along great with Gadget. Soon enough, all the princesses had become close friends, to the point where they each considered each other sisters. Not long into training, Queen Gloria took aside all the applicants and asked them to make an oath. I need you all to make an oath. Protect Princess Catherine at all times, so she is not hurt in battle, for she will be the next queen. But why? What about your son? He is never to become king. You must make sure of that. The princesses were confused by this request. Some of them continued to pry, including Symphony and Katrina. Eventually, they made the oath, and life continued as if that never happened. A few years later, life was well, but restless. Symphony had started getting tired of being a princess and wanted nothing more than to pursue her dreams, and her mother's dreams. But due to a sense of duty to the kingdom and her friends, she kept quiet. Katrina, however, could tell what her sister was thinking, and started making subtle hints about it. The other princesses felt similarly, but kept their thoughts away from Princess Catherine, who was now queen. Eventually, she felt the need to step down and allowed her friends to leave. Symphony and Katrina returned to melodic shores and began pursuing their passions. They became two of the most well-known musicians and began traveling around the world for their performances. Their father couldn't be prouder and knew their mother would be proud of them as well. Even though they don't use their magic for much fighting anymore, when the time comes if the world needs them, Symphony and Katrina aren't afraid to take action. And that's their backstory. Before I end this video, I want to bring up a couple of fun facts about these characters since they are very old. Symphony and Katrina, along with the other princesses, used to be the main protagonists of Legends, long before it was called that. Like, when I was a kid before I had any concept of what an original series was. Hence why, if any of you are Wings Club fans, probably saw similarities between Symphony and Katrina with Musa. That's because Symphony was straight up Musa. My whole thing as a kid was to take these characters from different media, put them in my story, and give them non-canon family members. Most characters I did this with are no longer part of the series, and the ones that are, like Symphony, have changed in some way. Because these two characters are now minor and don't actually have any major appearances, I wasn't considered on making them completely different, but they're not identical anymore. Anyway, that's all I have for this video. Make sure to comment below what you thought of their backstory. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye!